You're so much better than Billy.
John, what the hell kind of game is this?
Billy, it's not what it looks like.
Only it was exactly what it looked like. A grown man in bed with a pig. I'm Morgan Freeman. What the hell is wrong with Chris?
Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. Let's talk about Spiral from the Book of Saw. This will be completely spoiler filled. I'll be giving you my thoughts on the ending of the movie, explaining some things you might have missed in the overall Saw universe. But really, I want to know your guys' spoiler review as well, even telling me where this movie ranks in the long list of 9 movies that they've made for Saw. I'll be telling you mine at the end of this video. I'm going to be really curious to be reading all the comments on this video on what you guys thought about this movie, because I'm seeing a lot of polarizing thoughts. Some people loving this film, some people being so disappointed and angry with what they came out with. And as a quick reminder, guys, I'm still giving away the first 8 Saw movies on Blu-ray collection DVDs right here. I gave one away in my spoiler-free video. That was won by Isaiah Johnson. I've already contacted them for how they can get theirs. If you want to win the other copy, like, subscribe, and comment down below that you want to be entered for this. Alright, now let's dust all that off and get into the nitty-gritty about this movie. I want to start off by saying I did like this movie, okay? If you compare it to all the other Saw films, this was a good Saw sequel. And when it boils down to it, it is a good Saw movie, but I think that's where my problem lied with this movie, is that it was just another Saw sequel, when everything leading up to this film really felt like it was going to be something different. I mean, we saw what these posters look like for the movie Spiral, and a Saw poster never looked this way, okay? Saw movies always had very unique looking posters. This made it seem like they were going with a more dramatic tone, character focus, and for the most part, while it is, at the end of the day, they just reused the same Saw formula that they have been doing in all the other Saw movies, where the first couple minutes is an opening kill and a trap. Okay, that's fine. That's something with the franchise. You gotta do that. And then we go to a detective. Okay, that's been done before. And then people around the detective start dying in traps one by one. Also part of the Saw movie. And then you get a reveal at the end with the same creepy Saw music. It was like, I've seen this movie 7 times now. I thought I was getting something different. So that's what I mean when I say it is a good Saw movie, because it used that formula well, but I was expecting something different. You were calling this a spin-off. You were going with a whole different direction, and you really didn't do that. Oh, I think we all agree. Chris Rock, like, damn stole the show. That opening where he's just talking about Forrest Gump 2 and that whole comedy routine involved with it, I was dying and laughing so hard in the theater. Even when he's going ahead and showing the ropes to his new partner, and the camera's just following them to the crime scene, and he's just like, yeah, wife, Pilates don't even exist, man. I'm sure she liked Pilates. Like, oh, I was dying. I was like, that's what was needed in this Saw movie, because all the other Saw films never had this kind of humor. So I did like Chris Rock's involvement, but man, come on. Let's just get into it, because I got a lot to say about this twist in the film. So the whole thing was Spiral from the Book of Saw. We thought maybe the word Book of Saw in the title was like, okay, there's a cult now. There's something that has been created, and there's people following the John Kramer teachings, when no, it doesn't look like there's a whole big cult. It's just one guy, the new partner, Chris Rock's partner that is, that ended up being Jigsaw. And what, did he have some past connection to Jigsaw? Is he connected into the lore somehow? Nope, he watched his dad get murdered by a dirty cop, so now he decided to take up the mantle of Jigsaw and only go after dirty cops. Couple of thoughts on that. On the motive of this Jigsaw, where, you know what, my whole thing is only dirty cops. People who abuse their power, that's the people I'm gonna go after. I love that. I think that's a great idea, because the Saw movies, as they went on, really got loosey-goosey on who was supposed to be in a trap. Did we not forget? There was a whole trap dedicated to a 3-way couple that had to die in public just because these people were cheating on it. That did not deserve a child trap, and why the heck is John Kramer stalking college students and knowing what relationship is going on? Like, what? That as ridiculous as it got, but not even just that. People who work for insurance companies, or were doctors, or were photographers, ended up in saw traps, when sometimes I don't think the punishment fit the crime. To where this motive of this new Jigsaw killer is, I saw a dirty cop kill my father, who was an innocent man that was gonna testify and put some people away, and they killed him for that. So he just only goes after people who abuse that same power. I think that is worthy of being in a Saw trap. And I can have that conflicting thought of like, oh man, this guy is a scumbag, but I don't know if he should have his tongue ripped out or his fingers cropped off. That's going a little too far. Oh, maybe not. That was good. But the problems I had with that still being the twist of the movie, I saw it coming miles and miles away, okay? And this isn't even me trying to be like the cool guy who's like, oh, that twist in the movie? Guys, come on. I saw it coming to my way. I knew it was happening. This isn't me trying to be cool. It was literally so obvious that it was him, and here's how you know. Maybe it was just because I recently binged all the Saw movies, and you just pick up on the little subtle hints that characters say dialogue-wise that hint to them being the killer. Things like where he said, oh, I've been waiting for this for 12 years, or your father's the whole reason I'm here. I'm like, that's some really weird, suspicious things to say. I'm gonna keep my eye on you, but the nail in the coffin that gave it away that he was the killer is when he died abruptly in the movie. And when I say he died abruptly in the movie, as the film is going on, obviously people are being put in traps, these dirty cops who have done something to abuse their powers in the past, and then out of nowhere, he gets put into a trap where they skin him alive, having his tattoo on a person, and that's where they're like, oh, my partner died, how could this happen? One, in the flashback of his trap, they never showed his face, it was just a skull. Two, they never fully played his tape for the reason he deserved to be in that trap. It was pretty obvious this new Jigsaw was being consistent of attacking dirty cops, and this man was brand new to the police force and a rookie. He has done nothing wrong so far and seems like a perfect Boy Scout. He was the one that was so obviously didn't belong in these traps, and when they didn't show his face at all, I knew, oh my goodness, it's the partner, okay? They're gonna reveal it at the end, and sure enough, when they did, I was like, alright, it's him. You better have a great reason. And even parts of his reasoning weren't that great. And the reason I say parts of it was, they never explain why that previous partner from Chris Rock wanted to even kill that witness. Like, that's just such a weird thing to have to do for a cop to kill a witness that was gonna put a criminal away. They didn't say if that cop was being bribed by the other person he was gonna put away, if he was part of that organization, nothing. They were just like, oh, he was a witness, he killed them, and that's done. And I know there's this whole thing of you don't snitch on other cops, you don't put them away for stuff, but this man literally killed an innocent person, and when Chris Rock's character turned him in, the entire police department turns on Chris Rock? That doesn't make sense to me. The guy killed an innocent man. Who cares if he snitched on a cop? That guy deserved to be snitched. Nitpicking a little more with some of the details. And again, that's kind of what this spoiler review is for. It's just for me to get everything off my chest. But I'm reminding you guys, I still like this movie compared to some of the other Saw sequels. Now, let me get back to complaining for no reason. Although the traps were very gory and even inventive, I never felt the suspense I did with some of the traps in the previous Saw movies. If you go back to something like Saw 7, which I declare is one of the worst in the franchise, even the traps in that movie still had me on the edge of my seat and were done really well. Specifically that one where he has to pull a fish hook out of the woman's body, and if she screams, there's going to be things that come closer to her neck. That is a trap where you're really like, oh my god, be careful. But these, they went by way too fast. I never had the time to be like, oh my god, is he gonna make it? Is he gonna do it? I was only grossed out by what I was actually witnessing. Also didn't like the format of them cutting back and forth where we already knew the body died and then they go back to show us the trap. It's like, well, the suspense of whether he's going to make it out or not is already taken away since you showed me the dead body. The new voice of Jigsaw also sucks, man. I know we can't keep bringing back John Kramer, and that's something they really wanted to take away from this movie. Is like, no more Tobin Bell as John Kramer, because we need to separate ourselves from that and do something new, which, you know what? I respect them for doing that, but pick a different voice. Every time he said, I want to play a game, it sounded so forced and weird, and I did not like that. I really hate to say it because the director of this movie, Darren Lynn Bousman, who did some of the better Saw sequels and is champion for a Leprechaun reboot, which, man, if you're watching this, I want you to reboot Leprechaun because you want Warwick Davis, and it sounds like a lot of fun with what you want to do with that character. But I also think they shouldn't have brought him and writers from existing Saw movies into this film. They really should have leaned in on trying to do something completely different with the franchise, because that's all it feels like. You know, when you play video games and characters have different costumes and skins that they can wear, but their move abilities and powers don't really change, just their appearance? That's what this movie was. It's still a Saw film that just has a different skin on it. Oh man, that sounds a little racist, but that's not what I meant, man. When it comes down to it though, as a diehard Saw fan, I have just been glued to this franchise for the longest. I'm just gonna stick through it all the way through, and I'm curious to see what they would do if they make a sequel, which they're obviously open to with the way the movie ended and the new Jigsaw Killer getting away. And the only motive now of going after dirty cops is something I can definitely get behind. And now there's that rivalry there built in, which is something that was always missing in the Saw movies, but was done well between 4 and 6. where you had some of the same recurring characters showing up. That way you had a pre-built emotional attachment to characters, because every time they brought in someone new to lead a new Saw movie, I hated that, because it's like, I don't know you, dude. Why do I have to get to liking you? I like the guy who was in the other movie, but you killed him. I just say now, throw away that Saw formula. Lean into something different. Get a brand new director that's not familiar with Saw. Get a brand new writer that hasn't worked on a Saw movie before and see what they can do. They might surprise you. But again, that's just my opinion on the movie. Like I said, it is a good Saw movie. It fits in fine using that same formula. This right here is my ranking of all 9 of the Saw movies. I want you guys to let me know down your opinion of your ranking to where this film fits in. If it's your favorite of the franchise, hey, I don't blame you. Entertaining, scary, and gory. Yeah, it's a great combination. But there were still other Saw movies that had me more invested, and I liked the story and the twist. This is one of those rare Saw movies where the ending twist happened, and I wasn't getting those goosebumps. I wasn't like, oh. Be sure to leave me your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.